Hey guys, and happy almost Valentine's Day. Today I'm going to share with you a very simple makeup routine that looks a lot harder than it is. It's actually quite easy, but a little bit different than my usual makeup, and I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. Whether you're going on a date or you're just binge watching The Office like Alex and I will be binge watching The Office on Valentine's Day. We are obsessed with it. We've already seen almost everything and we know what happens in the end, but we just restarted and decided that that's what we're gonna be doing for this week. And I'm very, very excited about it. But whether you're doing that or you're going out on a really fancy date, I think this makeup look is so easy, but it looks like you put a lot of effort in. So let's get into this. And I'll show you how to do it. You definitely need to prime your face if you're going out on a date or you want your makeup to last for Valentine's Day. And I recommend the Too Faced Hangover Primer. I still love my Stila, but I thought I'd try something else. And this one's really good, except for the smell. I find that it kind of smells like super glue. And it's not too bad that I can't get over it. Like the Urban Decay concealer I'm going to use kind of smells like paint or like paint thinner. But if you are sensitive to smell and you hate the smell of super glue, this might not be the primer for you. But I love how it kind of just makes my skin feel tacky, but in a good way. Like it's about to adhere some serious foundation and nothing is going anywhere. For foundation, you want something that has a decent amount of coverage, but is also going to last all day and look really good. So I'm going to be using the Makeup Forever Professional Ultra HD Invisible Cover Foundation, and I am the shade 125, and it's not an exact match, but I think it's just close enough that with a little bit of blending, it looks great. I am going to take my Real Techniques buffing brush and put a few pumps, like 2, because it doesn't put too much, on my brush, and then blend it into my face. I find that I like to do a combination of brush blending and finger blending. I've always been such a strong advocate of finger blending for like tinted moisturizers and BB creams that it kind of translates. Like I can't not finger blend a foundation in. All right, that is blended in, and I think my camera's too bright, so I'm gonna turn you guys down. That's the wrong way. So you can get a better look at it. I think there we go. So it just provides a very nice glow to the skin. And I always make sure to carry it down to my neck. If I know it's not an exact match, you should probably carry it down to your neck anyway, but I just like to make sure everything looks blended. And you also can't overblend. I don't think you can ever blend in a foundation so much that it just vanishes. So if you're not sure if it's fully blended, just keep going. Then I like to take my fingers and make sure everything is blended in around my eyes and my nose. At this point, the ring comes back on. If you saw my last everyday makeup tutorial, then you know I take my ring off when I do things with my hands, and then when everything else is brush onward, I always put my ring back on so I don't forget. I always like to do brows next. It kind of starts to pull together everything and I look a little more human, and I always use the Anastasia Brow Wiz. I'm in the shade Soft Brown, and I don't really use anything else. I've tried a couple of different brow pencils. I really like the Ofra one in like Dazzling Dark Brown, but this one is just so easy to use. It has a spoolie on it, and the color match is perfect. One brow done, on to the next one. Just like how the face primer makes sure your foundation stays in place all day, you should also use an eye primer so your shadows stay bright and last a lot longer. And I love this Kat Von D one. It is the high voltage eye primer, and I got it on a whim, just kind of hoping for the best, and it is amazing. You only need a little bit, and I think I talked about this in the other tutorial, like a tiny little bit. And it works so well, and you have tons in the packaging. It's going to last you forever, and it's much more affordable than like the NARS one or any other primers for your eyes that I've found. It leaves a bit of a yellow, like matte canvas, which is great for applying like warm tone shadows, which is what I'm going to be doing. Now this is where things get really simple, but it looks more complicated than it actually is. So I'm taking the Urban Decay Naked palette, the first one, and I am taking Half Baked. And that is like it. I'm taking a bit of Half Baked mixed with Smog to get kind of a shimmery gold brown metallic look, but that's all I'm doing. I'm not doing any definition or anything beyond just mixing Half Baked and Smog. So just a brown glittery tone and a gold glittery tone. It's okay to apply things a little bit messy because we're gonna follow up with a blending brush to make sure everything is blended out. I really like this Mirabella blending brush, but anyone will do. You just kind of do windshield wiper motions to make sure there aren't any like obvious lines of where your eyeshadow stops. This next part is what I really think pulls this whole look together and makes it look like you put a little bit more effort in than we obviously have. And it is taking a brown eye pencil, and this one is the MAC Eye Coal and Teddy. So something a little smudgy that you can kind of make like a neutral smoky eye with. That's kind of what we're going for. So if you want to build this up, you obviously can add a couple more shadows, add a little dark definition, but I'm all about simple makeup that looks like you put time in, and this is definitely one of those looks. So you just take the pencil and do like the outside third on the top of your eye and the bottom half on the bottom lid. Or the bottom, it's not a lid, the bottom part of your eye. I don't know what it's called. So doing this helps your eyes pop a little bit more, and it just gives it a little bit more of a sultry feel. Then I'm gonna follow up with mascara. I'm gonna curl my lashes because mine are devilishly straight, like annoyingly so. Then I'm gonna take the Butter London Iconoclast Mega Volume Lacquer Mascara and apply like crazy. So this has a weird brush that kind of has like a ball at the end, but it works really well at getting into the corners of your lashes. I'm gonna curl the other side, apply mascara, and then do another coat. I always like to do my concealer step after my eyes are done, just in case there's any sort of fallout, and I'm still obsessed with my Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealer. It's the only one I feel like using anymore. I still really like the NARS one. This one just seems heavier and like it lasts longer. So I blend everything in with a Real Techniques contour brush, and I don't get too close to my eyes so that I can go in with my fingers to make sure everything is blended, but I always bring the concealer up to kind of act as a highlight without having to add more product. And since it's kind of a special occasion, I like to go in and do a bit of very light contouring and highlighting. I use the NYX Professional Highlight Contour Palette, Pro Palette. And the first thing I like to do is take this yellow shade, this very yellow shade, and set all of the concealer. So if I have really dark under eye circles that the concealer is like doing a decent amount of job covering, but they're still popping through, using a yellow setting powder kind of helps to mattify them and make them less obvious. So I just go over all of the areas that I put concealer to kind of set it all in place. And then we get into a bit of very light contouring. I am not very good at this, but I always like to try to do a little bit of it when it's a special occasion. So I take an angled brush. This one is from Cicero, and it's an EO3, and it's just an angled brush that I always use for contour, so it's the same color, and you're not mixing shades. And then I take this kind of muddy brown that's not the darkest shade, it's just right there in the middle, but it's matte, it's not very orange, it's just kind of gray toned. And I get enough on my brush that I think I'm satisfied, and then I go in right to the apples or the hollows of my cheeks. You can kind of see mine decently already, and that's where I just go in and start up high and then work my way down a little bit. So it's very, very obvious right now because I'm gonna still blend it out, but I don't go too crazy and I don't do all of my face. I usually just stick to the hollows of my cheeks and a little bit by my nose. Like whatever's left on the brush after I do this, I kind of just run down the sides of my nose. So now I'm taking the buffing brush that I blended in my foundation with and just going over everything to smooth it out and to make it less like obvious stark lines. So there you go. You can kind of see the definition. It adds a little bit of something extra without having to be super good at contouring or go crazy on the face. You can also do the top like temples of your forehead. If I'm going like real crazy, I will do that, and then a little bit on my chin too. But I just want to keep this as easy as possible, and contouring alone is like taking it to the next step. So I think we are all set. What is Valentine's Day without a little bit of pink? So I am using the Tarte blush in Fearless, and it is quite pink. So I'm only going to take a little bit on another angled brush and get it on the apples of my cheeks and bring it upward. This is a step you can do before you buff out the contour lines if you want everything to be very fluid and smooth. But I want my blush to be a little bit more obvious, so I'm doing it afterwards so it doesn't get all muddled together with the contour. Onto lipstick, and this is where you can really make this look your own if you want to do a deep red or any sort of like bright pink, because this look is so universal that it doesn't really matter what lipstick you wear. But I like to go simple so that my eyes really pop and that it looks like I didn't try too hard, but I know I look good. So I'm gonna use MAC's Syrup, and it is a lovely mauvey purpley shade that just adds a nice finish to the look. Now onto setting spray, and you know I can't finish a makeup look without it. I love the Urban Decay All Nighter setting spray, and I actually learned a pretty interesting tip from Viviana Does Makeup. You take a beauty blender brush and spray a couple of spritzes on the brush, then you kind of pat your makeup in. So it makes sure that you are getting coverage and like sealing the makeup in you want to without doing just an overall like spray and pray, I guess is what you would call it, when you mist your face. Now, I only ever do this if I have a heavier coverage foundation that I want to make sure is not budging. But on normal days, I just spray my face and call it good. But you just pat in all of the areas you want to make sure your makeup stays in place, and it really helps to fully blend everything in if you missed anything. All right, guys, there you have it. A really simple makeup look that you can wear for Valentine's Day or anytime, really. It's not holiday specific. I love it because it looks like I put so much effort in with the eyeliner, and I look a little bit more sultry without having to go crazy and break out any dark reds or any colored eyeshadow. It's so easy to do, and I'm very, very excited to see if you guys do it. So let me know in the comments below if you do a look like this or if you incorporate some of my tips into your Valentine's Day makeup look. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. Give this video a thumbs up if you want to see more beauty tutorials and more beauty related videos, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!